Hey everybody, this is your boy Jim Austin from Jim Austin Online, and we're taping from the Stockyards podcast recording studios. This is my personal show, The Austin File, where we talk to people that we know, that we like, and have something to say. We also share and let you know what's going on in the Metroplex, and we're doing that live on Facebook. And then we talk about commercial real estate, about investing in real estate, putting some of your money in real estate. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm your guy, I've been around 40 years, Austin Company Commercial Real Estate, also known as the Fresh Prince of Commercial Real Estate. So that's me. That's your boy, Jim Austin. But today, I got someone special on the line. And this is one of my boys back from Howard University. We had a lot of fun there. We've known each other probably over 40 years. And he's a lawyer in Washington, D.C. And back at Howard, he was one of the most popular guys on campus. And I am so glad to be talking to Donald Temple. Hey, Donald, how you doing, babe?
Hey, Jim, how are you, man? Thanks for the warm introduction. It's very generous, I should say.
You know, we're going to talk a little bit about where you grew up, how you got to Howard. I got there through the hookup, but you know, we that's all right. And then we're going to talk about, you know, what you're doing now. I know you're practicing law in Washington, D.C., very involved in the Black Lawyers Association and things, and being a leader. So let's talk about where you grew up, how you got to Howard, and you know what you've been doing for the last 40 or 50 years, sir.
Sure, I'll try to summarize that. I'm originally from Philadelphia, from North Philadelphia. That's a special place, an area called Strawberry Mansion. And it's like many cities, I'm from the hood in Philly. And I came through, I have a very wonderful and strong family, great traditions, and we come from the bottom up, Jim, you know. There's a time when we had 5 generations living in the same space, in the same house. That's not the case today, but it taught us a lot of values. It taught us compassion, it taught us passion, sacrifice, discipline, and a little bit of grit too, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And, graduated and went on, came to Howard. It was a blessing. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me academically and socially. And I met like the best people. Anybody who goes to historically Black colleges is bonding and doing incredible things. But I had kind of an incredible development at Howard, because part of it was obviously the academic and having some of the best professors, Black professors who taught us things that we just didn't learn before we came to Howard, and meeting people from all different backgrounds and all different places. I remember I was on campus, man, and I looked across the street and I saw this beautiful woman and I said, Jesus Christ, I could marry that woman. And I did. I mean, that's the Black college experience. I mean, and she was from Texas, and that I'm not married to her anymore, but that's episodic, you know. I mean, I acted at Howard. I was in a play with Lynn Whitfield at Howard in children's theater. I was in the student government, of course, and it was there that I was in the student government with Mike Espy and so many other people. So Howard was vibrant and beautiful, and I had many friends and people who were thinking, you know, yes, young people who were thinking way beyond the times, and not just thinking about themselves, you know, thinking about society, thinking about the community, thinking about the nation, thinking about Africa, thinking about the Caribbean, thinking about the world. And that matters, Jim, because, I mean, if you're gonna have an education and you're gonna live this very short life that we live, you're not taking anything to your grave, you know what I mean? So making sure that there's a legacy, making sure that we do something for the betterment and improvement of society, especially our children and our children's children. I mean, I salute you. I mean, you are absolutely an incredible father. And people may not know that about you. I mean, that is an incredible part of your DNA. You know, so that's Howard, and then on to law school. I went to law school at Santa Clara in California. Mike Espy, the candidate from Mississippi, and I drove across the country to Santa Clara. Never been to California before that. Can you believe that? And that became an experience, and I was very active in the student government at Howard, and I became president of the Black Law Student Association, and then the first Black president of the Student Bar Association. And Mike and I were in student government together. He was treasurer, and we were pioneering then and doing things at Santa Clara. After that, I came back to DC and went to Georgetown to graduate law school and worked in the government. I don't know why, Jim, if I knew you the way that you think, I would have never worked for anybody, which is an invaluable contribution that you give to our community, you know. And so I worked, and then I worked in the Congress for between 1980 and 89. Then I ran for Congress here in DC.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I started my own practice in 1990. Before that, I also run, and I think it's of interest to your listeners, I also run the Law School Preparation Institute. So as I mentioned to you, coming from Philly, I'm the first lawyer, first college grad in my family. So everything that I learned in law school, I said I want to give it back. And so I want to make sure that any student that's going to law school knows what I didn't know. So we now run what's called the Charles Hamilton Houston Law School Prep Institute, starting in 1981. So that program is 41 years old, and it's a 7-week program for any entering law students. So if you know students going to law school, send them to our way. It's named after the late Charles Hamilton Houston. If you don't know who he is, Google him because he's phenomenal. And our students have gone to law schools across the country, from Harvard to Berkeley to Howard to Texas Southern, University of Florida, University of Penn, University of Michigan, and the like. And we prepare them and ground them with the kind of tools that they need: writing, analysis, case analysis, exam taking, brief writing, etc. And they have a collection of incredible African-American law professors before they start law school. So it's a beautiful program. And I would think it's worth noting, Jim, that our students write briefs, argue briefs, and take exams before they go to law school. The winners of their appellate advocacy program, Jim, actually argue, Jimmy, they argue the cases in the DC Court of Appeals before a panel of real judges before they start law school. So we want our students, when they go wherever they're going, whether it's UT or whether it's UP, okay, to have confidence in themselves, to have a sense of history, to know what the meaning of the law is as a framework that informs how decisions are made and how wealth is distributed in our society, and to know that it's also a shield and a sword. And so that's God's gift to me is my legal education. My gift back to God is sharing my legal education with others so that they can be equally prepared. And then that takes us to the politics of the day. And I've been involved in that.
Well, Donald, you know, I think I'm gonna let you interview me, brother, because you got so many curves and angles. I said, you know, when do I stop and say something in there? Because Donald, you and I have been friends for a long time, and you know, you talked a lot about the Howard experience, and people that go to Howard University, they relate. They talk about the Hill and, you know, that act of giving and leadership, you know, and right now is such an important day that, you know, some of our classmates are running for office and doing some big things, and it's just that experience. So that's why we're pushing for people to get out and vote. It's just important to vote. I mean, yesterday, today, all across the country's early voting is going down. And we're pushing a little campaign right now for people to get out and vote. And we've got a couple candidates, 3 candidates that are actually running for national offices, and that we're trying to get the vote out and get the support. All Howard alumnus. I mean, you talk about Thurgood Marshall, you know, from the Supreme Court. You know, you talk about so many people that went through Howard through their leadership. You know, you talk about Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad. I mean, you know, Bozeman, you know, I mean, the loss of him was a tremendous effect on so many lives. Folks were crying, you know, when we lost Chadwick Boseman, you know, the Black Panther. So it goes on and on and on. So Donald, why don't you talk about that importance of getting out the vote, and and what your position on that, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim, and you're absolutely right. All I can say is one word really captures that: Selma, Selma, Alabama, and the personal sacrifices that people made. They didn't even think that they would be an immediate benefit when they made those sacrifices, when they marched, when they fought to get the laws changed in the 60s. It wasn't something that was ceremonial for them. It was a life commitment. Nothing right now today is more important than this election in November and us getting out, no matter what it takes. If we have to stay out all night, if we have to walk to deliver our ballots, nothing. I know in Texas today, a court of appeals overturned a lower court decision, and that was 3 Trump judges. How did they get to be judges? Because the president appoints judges. And now it's affecting us in Texas and how the people vote in terms of voter suppression. So, Jim, that's a very important subject, and I think we need to give it the highest priority.
Yeah, it's right now. We opened up today, and I saw in a couple states, Alabama, and opened up on Georgia, and people stood in line for 11 hours just to get to vote. And the passion right now is to get as many people out to vote, because this one is important. And some of the things that the administration is trying to change for us, so many people have existing health issues, and if you throw that out, that's going to be devastating. And just got to get out and vote, man. And Donald, we go way back, and we have that sense of giving back and going back and pulling someone up and bringing them with us, instead of just being the old me factor. We just got to do that now, brother. And
Absolutely.
I'm just glad to be talking to you right now. We got so many classmates that are doing things all around the world, and to be able to share and share our bond. You and I belong to that great fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, which you see my paddle hanging there behind my wall. And when you say some of the top best things I did in my life was, to go to Howard University and to pledge Kappa Alpha Psi. So those things, that brotherhood is so important. And I got my best friend that I met at Howard, Mr. Al Brunson, that we've been friends for 50 years, and another good Kappa man. So there it is, Donald.
Well, I think there it is. That's
you know,
true. But Jim, I think that that goes back to the Black college experience. That also goes back to the challenge to us in the fraternities and sororities. And so, I mean, the fact of the matter is, I mean, we're putting on an event on Friday. It's homecoming week. Homecoming shut down, but we're putting on an event on Friday to get people to be sensitive to the vote and to support. We have 3 candidates in our community, our Howard community. Yvonne Halley out of North Carolina is running for lieutenant governor. Mike Espy, who's running for the United States Senate in Mississippi. And of course, Kamala Harris, who's running along with Joe Biden for vice president. I think it's important, Jim, but I think it's, as much as it's important to us to understand the vote, we have to understand the context, because the vote is the first step right now of putting out this fire in this house, but after the election, the fire is still going to continue. And so we have to vote now, but we have to keep that consciousness. And the other thing is that we got to make government accountable at the state, local, and federal levels. And this is critical. This is why the vote is so critical. So I just wanted to add that, Jim, and I want to give you some oxygen there so you can let me know if you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, as you know, we've been meeting now for 3 weeks planning this party. If anybody knows, the people from Howard University is one of the most diverse campuses in the world, from the experience of various majors. But I've been back to homecoming. I've been out of school since 76, and I've been back probably for at least 10 homecomings, and I've taken my wife with me, and the experience of being on campus and had going to the networking on Friday night, going up on the yard, going to the football game, and then the class of the 70s throws a party down on Saturday night. So you get to see friends and relate. But this Friday, this Friday, what's that date again, Donald? Shoot, the 16th? Yeah, we're throwing down with a virtual homecoming party. Everyone is invited. It's absolutely free. We're showing some pictures from back in the day. You want to see Jimmy Austin with his afro and all of that. So we'll be posting that. We're having a dance contest. We're having a comedian. We're playing, just having a good time, just on Zoom.
And we have the candidate from Mississippi will be there by way of Zoom, Mike Espy. And we have some good material from Kamala when we had the fundraiser for Kamala earlier, Howard alum. And so it's priceless, actually. And Jim, you hit the nail on the head, because tomorrow's not going to be guaranteed to anybody. And we get a chance to hang out. Nobody is walking around talking about I'm Dr. So-and-so or lawyer so-and-so. That's not important. What's important is that we share what we call that, what I call that Mecca magic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something magical about going to Howard. My daughter, one of them went to Howard and one of them went to FAMU. I'm sure when I visited FAMU, that FAMU magic is there, that Morehouse magic is there, that Cheney magic is there. And so we want all alumni to start thinking about what's going on. We want you to start thinking about Mike Espy and supporting Mike and supporting the candidates and getting out to vote, getting the young people out to vote. I just want to put a footnote on that, is that we got to talk to our kids, man. We got to talk to our kids, our grandkids, our nephews, our nieces, because you got to keep pounding them, because the media and the industries that don't want our young people to vote, don't want us to vote. Because if we can stop this house from burning just a little bit, this present house that's burning with this guy and his wife, he's filling while Rome is burning, man, we got.
We say, you say the guy is, he's out of control, and COVID's out of control. The rates are going up and people are dying. Over 200,000 people have died with the COVID. This is real, and over 1 million people have gotten it, and we don't even have a cure yet. So, wear your mask, get your temperature taken, wash your hands, man. I have not washed my hands more in the last 7 months than I've ever done it. But, wash your hands, keep your distance, be safe, because this thing is real, man. It's knocking some people outside the box, friends, parents, that have passed on, and you can't even go into the hospital and hold their hand. I mean, that's devastating, and the stories and the trends. So please, we got to get this COVID under control. We got to get this, get out and vote, man. We're not necessarily telling you who to vote for. We're just telling you to go out and vote for your candidate. A lot of people died for us as African Americans to be able to vote, man. I mean, I'm like, I vote, no matter what. So I will be going down to vote. I said, hey, today's the first day in our county to vote. I said, look, I don't have to be the first one there, but we will definitely be casting our vote this week, sir.
I wanted to go back to Selma because it's hard for us. We're comfortable, man. You know what I mean? We're comfortable. We live comfortably. We're educated, and I would say sometimes we're trained, not educated, because, we're not thinking as robustly as we should if we were truly educated about what this whole life thing means. You dig what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I said that to say Selma, because if people just look at that 5-minute clip on that bridge before those police attacked our four parents and just internalize it for a minute and say, you know, what were they thinking to walk, to know that that was going to happen? And when the police challenged them to move, that they didn't, what were they thinking? You know, they were thinking about you. They
Yeah.
think about me.
Right.
They think about kids, and kids that's not even born, Jim. You know what I mean? So it's not rhetoric when people say vote. It's real. But we should show those videos and sit down with our young people. I mean, and say, listen, just take a minute. There is no more important a question today than November 3rd, 2020.
Oh, you got to get out there and get your vote early. If you can go in and cast your vote, go in. You know that I'm going in and cast my vote, and all of my kids are, my 5 kids, they're voting, and you know my family, we're all getting out and voting. We're pushing that. You know we as Howard University alumni, we have a sense that it's important that we get involved, you know, from the president to the board of trustees, so many classmates. And, you know, it's just been fun, Donald, doing these Zoom meetings, these planning meetings, and seeing this party came about with 20 Kappas from Z chapter at Howard University. I'm proud to say that, you know, we came up with the idea, but it's open to everybody and anybody you know. And every time I meet someone, I go to Howard, and they said, wow. They said, I know somebody that went to Howard too. So it's an experience of going to homecoming. So we're bringing it to them Friday night. It's a party. We got a DJ. We throwing down. We just having fun, and everybody's invited. Just go to our link is Vote 2020 now on Eventbrite. Go
Hey, Jim,
sign up. Yeah, Vote 2020 now, Eventbrite. Register. It's absolutely free, and come party with Howard University alumni.
hey, Jim, tell them about the campaign contributions. It might, that what we're trying to do.
Yeah, on the site, we've got the 3 links for the 3 candidates that Donald mentioned: Kamala Harris, Mike Epps, and Miss Holly. What's her first name? What's her real name?
Mike Espy and Yvonne Halley.
Yvonne Howley. They're running for national offices. When you go to the link, you can donate if you choose, but the party is free. You know, at Howard, you knew where the party was during homecoming. We having a free party on Friday night. So Donald, we got to wrap it up. My production guy, Blue, said I got 1 more minute. Is there anything you want to say to Jim Austin Online, to my podcast? You know, I appreciate you taking the time out, because I know you're a very, very busy and important guy.
I don't know about that, but you sure taught me a lesson with all this podcasts and equipment and technology, Jim. And I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. I mean, you're a businessman. You don't have to be talking about the vote and all that. But I appreciate the fact that you care about what's going on in the community. And thank you.
You're welcome. This is brought to you by Jim Austin Online, coming from the Stockyards podcast recording studio. My show is the Austin File. Check it out, share it, join my Facebook, LinkedIn, sign up for my all of my stuff. Okay. Talk to you later, Donald. Talk to you tonight. See you later.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Bye.